Everyone, I'm back again, and I hope that you're all really well. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Warren, and I'd like to give you all a very big warm welcome to my channel, Warren's Team Talk, especially if you've never come to visit my channel before. So thanks for coming, and I hope that you enjoy your visit. Anyway, so today I've got an exciting and brand new video for you. Which is going to be episode 23 of England's most successful football club, and in this episode I'm going to be looking at Derby County Football Club, who were once famously managed by Brian Clough. Anyway, I hope that you enjoy today's show and find it really interesting and informative. So let's get on with it, I suppose. Let's get on the Warren's Team Talk bus and enjoy the in-bus entertainment and get our way up to Derby to see our friends up there. So let's get on with it. So here we are, we've arrived in Derby. We're going to go and visit our friends at Derby County now. Now, Derby County, they managed to get 3,505 points and finished 18th in the Warren's Team Talk table. So hopefully this will be a good, interesting story for us to look at. Anyway, so they were formed in 1884 by a gentleman by the name of William Morley as an offshoot of Derbyshire County Cricket Club. So presumably that's why they're called Derby County FC. So, but anyway, in 1888, they became one of the 12 founder members of the English Football League. And the club has a nickname of the Rams, apparently as a tribute to the links with the 1st Regiment of Derby Militia, which took a ram as its mascot. Also, you will notice that the club has a ram on its club crest. And Derby County is one of only 10 clubs in England to have competed in every season of the English Football League. And all but 4 of those have been in the top 2 divisions, so that's quite some achievement, really. In the 1893-94 season, which was the 6th season of the English Football League, and which was the first one where the Rams enjoyed any success when they finished 3rd in the 1st Division Tier 1 of the English Football League. And then 2 years on from that, in the 1895-96 season, Derby went on to finish 2nd in the 1st Division Tier 1, and then the next season, just the very next season, in 1896-97, the club again finished 3rd in the 1st Division Tier 1, when they were edged into 3rd place on goal average by 0.048 of a goal by Sheffield United, when they both finished the season on 36 points. The very next season, in 1897-98, the Rams reached their first ever FA Cup final, when unfortunately they lost to their rivals, East Midland rivals, Nottingham Forest, 3-1 in front of a crowd of over 62,000 at Crystal Palace Ground in London. The club then reached the FA Cup final again the following year, in the 1898-99 season, but again, sadly on this occasion, they lost to Sheffield United 4-1, again at Crystal Palace in front of a crowd of over 73,000 on this occasion. 4 years then moved on, and then in the 1902-1903 season, the Rams would reach their 3rd FA Cup final. But unfortunately, again, for them, it would not prove to be 3rd time lucky, as they suffered a humiliating and heavy defeat to their opponents that day, Bury FC, by 6-0. And again at Crystal Palace. Sadly for them, their chasing experience was witnessed by a crowd of over 63,000 people. It is also the biggest margin of victory in an FA Cup final, and this feat has only ever been matched by Manchester City when they managed to beat Watford 6-0 in the 2018-19 season's FA Cup final. 7 years after this heavy defeat at the FA Cup final against Bury, the Rams would go on to finish 4th in the 2nd Division, Tier 2, in the 1909-1910 season, and they unfortunately missed out on promotion that year, as the 3 clubs who finished 2nd, 3rd and 4th that year all finished on 53 points, but had to be separated by goal average, with just 0.494 of a goal separating Oldham Athletic, who finished 2nd, Hull City, who finished 3rd, and Derby County, who finished 4th. So, moving on. 2 years later, though, in the 1911-1912 season, Derby would soften the blow of the disappointments that they had suffered in the previous seasons when they won the 2nd Division Tier 2 title, and they did so on goal average 0.761 over Chelsea, who finished on 54 points with. They finished on 54 points with at the top of the table, and they edged them into 2nd place as a consequence. Derby were promoted back up to the 1st Division Tier 1 that year because of the fact they'd won the 2nd Division title. Their stay back in the 1st Division Tier 1, though, only lasted 2 years, as they were relegated back to the 2nd Division Tier 2 in the 1913-14 season. And then the next year, in the 1914-15 season, they're first back in the 2nd Division Tier 2, and the last before the outbreak of World War I, when all football in England was cancelled until the start of the 1919-20 season. The Rams would win the 2nd Division Tier 2 title and win back promotion to the 1st Division Tier 1. Unfortunately for the Rams, though, their stay in the 1st Division Tier 1 would, once World War I had ended, only last 2 seasons before they found themselves back in the 2nd Division Tier 2 once again. Then, starting in the 1923-24 season, the Rams achieved 2 consecutive 3rd place finishes in the 2nd Division Tier 2 and narrowly missing out on promotion on both occasions. Firstly, in 1923-24, they missed out on promotion to Bury on goal average by 0.014 of a goal, when both clubs finished on 51 points. And then the next season, in 1924-25, they missed out on promotion by 2 points to Manchester United. Then, after these disappointments of narrowly missing out on promotion for 2 consecutive seasons, the Rams went on to win promotion when they finished 2nd in the 2nd Division Tier 2 in the 1925-26 season. And then Then 2 years later, in the 1927-28 season, the club finished fourth in the First Division Tier 1 on goal average, ahead of Cardiff City and Bury, when all three clubs finished on 44 points, and the difference in goal average between the three clubs was 0.282 of a goal. The Rams followed this up 2 years later in the 1929-30 season, by them finishing second in the First Division Tier 1, albeit they were 10 points behind the league champions that year, Sheffield Wednesday. 3 years on from this, in the 1933-34 seasons, the Rams went on to successfully secure a fourth place finish in the First Division Tier 1, when they narrowly finished ahead of the FA Cup winners and fifth place team that season, Manchester City, on goal average by 0.356 per goal. Then another 2 years after this, in the 1935-36 season, they secured yet another second place finish in the First Division, Tier 1. However, unfortunately for them, they finished a distant 8 points behind the league champions, Sunderland, that particular year. They did, however, finish marginally above third place Huddersfield Town on goal average that season by a mere 0.119 of a goal, when both teams finished on 48 points. The very next year, in the 1936-37 season, with the dark cloud of war increasingly engulfing Europe, the Rams finished fourth in the First Division Tier 1, and this was the last time that Derby enjoyed any success until after the Second World War. Then, in the 1945-46 season, which was the first peacetime season after World War II, but in England it did not see a return to a full season as it had been prior to the outbreak of World War II, but it was a more regionally based league season. However, the FA Cup did return, and this season saw Derby County win their first ever and to date only FA Cup when they defeated Charlton Athletic by 4-1 in the front of a crowd of 98,000 at Wembley Stadium. The season also saw the worst tragedy to hit British football until the Ibooks Park disaster in 1971, when 33 people lost their lives at the second leg of the Bolton Wanderers versus Stoke City FA Cup 6th round match at Burnden Park. I did talk about this disaster in my last video, which was episode 22 of England's most successful football club. So if you want to find out more about that, then please go and check out that video. Because it is quite upsetting, particularly when you find out about it and you've not known anything about it before. Anyway, then 2 years after the 1947-48 season, the Rams followed their FA Cup success up by finishing fourth in the First Division Tier 1. And then the very next season, in the 48-49 season, Derby went one better and successfully secured a third place finish and finished behind second place Manchester United on goal average by 0.405 of a goal, when they both finished on 53 points for the season. Then a spell of 7 years followed where They did not enjoy any success, and in fact, by the 1955-56 season, they ended up in the 3rd Division North Tier 3, and in that season, they finished 5 points behind 3rd Division North Tier 3 league champions Grimsby Town to finish 2nd that particular season in the 3rd Division North Tier 3. And then the next year, in the 1956-57 season, they made up for this disappointment by winning the 3rd Division Tier 3 title to win promotion up to the 2nd Division Tier 2. In 1967, Derby appointed the famous duo of Brian Clough and Peter Taylor. And then in the 1968-69 season, Derby went on to comfortably win their 2nd Division Tier 2 title. In fact, their margin of victory was a massive 7 points over 2nd place Crystal Palace. And then the very next year after that, in the 1960-70 season, in their first season back in the top tier of English football, they secured a 4th place finish in the 1st Division Tier 1. And then 2 years later, in the 1971-72 season, in 1971-72 season, the Rams won their first ever 1st Division Tier 2 title with a winning margin of 1 point over the 2nd, 3rd and 4th place clubs, who all finished on 57 points, and they had to be separated using goal average. So as you can see, it was a very, very tight finish involving 4 clubs at the top of the table that season. Obviously, this Tier 1 title success meant that Derby entered in the European Cup for the start of the 1972-73 season. And in this campaign, they reached the semi-finals of the Cup when they were knocked out by eventually 3-1 to Juventus on aggregate. Then in the 1973-74 season, which was the year after reaching the European Cup semi-final, they secured a 3rd place finish in the 1st Division Tier 1, and this qualified the Rams for the 1974-75 UEFA Cup. On the 15th of October 1973, Brian Clough and his sidekick Peter Taylor sadly parted company with Derby County, which sparked an angry reaction from the club's supporters, who demanded the resignation of the board of directors. Now, I don't know if any of you know the film The Damned United, but it's a very, very good film, and it chronicles Brian Clough's time as manager of Leeds United, but also it looks at the time when he was managing at Derby County. So it's a very good watch, and I would definitely recommend those of you who haven't seen it to go and watch it. I know that the Clough family weren't very happy about the way that Brian Clough was portrayed in the film, but yeah, it is good because it does give a bit of an insight into some of the things that happened. But like I say, I don't think the Clough family are particularly happy with the film, but it is a good film. Anyway, moving on. In the 1974-75 season, they had a UEFA Cup campaign, which ended in the third round when they were knocked out 5-4 on aggregate by Veles Mostar of the then Yugoslavia. Also in the 1974-75 season, their club won their second ever First Division Tier 1 title, and this also meant that they would then get another crack at the European Cup in the 1975-76 season. But also at the beginning of the 1975-76 season, Derby returned to Wembley Stadium to win the FA Charity Shield by defeating West Ham United 2-0 in front of a crowd of 59,000 at Wembley Stadium. That season's European Cup campaign, however, lasted only 2 rounds. And in that campaign, they defeated Slovan Bratislava of Czechoslovakia 3-1 on aggregate in the first round. And then in the second round, excuse me, in the second round, they lost 6-5 on aggregate to Real Madrid when the Rams won the first leg of that tie 4-1 against their illustrious Spanish opponents. Also in the 75-76 season, Derby finished 4th in the First Division Tier 1, and then again this qualified the Rams for the UEFA Cup in the following season. In the 76-77 UEFA Cup campaign, as with the European Cup campaign the season before, it would only last 2 rounds. When in the first round, they decimated Ireland's Finn Harps 16-1 on aggregate, and then they were knocked out in the second round by AEK Athens of Greece 5-2 on aggregate. After this, though, the club went through something of a decline, and by the 1984-85 season, the club ended up in the Third Division Tier 3. And in the 1985-86 season, Derby would finish 3rd in the Third Division Tier 3 when they finished 1 point ahead of Wigan Athletic to claim the final promotion spot to give them promotion back up to the Second Division Tier 2. The next season, in the 1986-87 season, the Rams would go on to win the Second Division Tier 2 title to win promotion back up to the First Division Tier 1. And then 5 years on from this, in the 1991-92 season, they successfully secured a 3rd place finish in the Second Division Tier 2. And they missed out on the final automatic promotion spot by 2 points to Middlesbrough, which entered them into the Second Division playoffs. But unfortunately, they missed out on promotion after they lost 5-4 on aggregate in the playoff semi-finals. So, yeah. Then 4 years later, in the 1995-96 season, the Rams were finally promoted back up to the FA Premier League Tier 1 when they successfully secured a 2nd place finish in the First Division Tier 2. And then 9 years after this, in the 2004-2005 season, Derby will end up finishing 4th in the Championship, but they failed to win promotion as they lost 2-0 on aggregate in the playoff semi-finals. Then 2 years after suffering these disappointments, in the 2006-2007 season, the Rams would end up winning promotion back up to the Premier League again, Tier 1, when they finished third in the Championship, and then went on to defeat West Bromwich Albion 1-0 in the playoff final. So after this, 7 years later, in the 2013-14 season, Derby successfully secured a third place finish in the Championship, but missed out on promotion when they lost 1-0 to QPR in the playoff final. Sadly, though, for the Rams, this would be the last time to date that they would achieve any meaningful success in the English Football League. Now, as part of the club's 125th anniversary celebrations, it was announced that during the 2009, in the year 2009, each month, a vote would be carried out to decide on the club's official all-time 11. And what they would do would be starting in February, each month, they would ask fans to vote on the position on the pitch. So they started in February 2009, asking fans to vote on the goalkeeper, and then the following 8 months, offering opportunities for Derby supporters to select a team based on a traditional 4-4-2 formation, with December's vote being reserved for the manager. So if we have a look, this is the team that they came up with. So we had in goal a gentleman by the name of Colin Bolton, who played for the club between 1964 and 1978. Right back of Ron Webster, who played between 1960 and 1978. Igor Stimash, who played at centre-back between 1995 and 1999. Roy McFarland, who played centre-back between 1967 and 1981, and 1983 and 1984. David Nish, who played left-back between 1972 and 1979. Archie Gemmell, who played centre midfield between 1970 and 1977 and 1982 to 1984. Alan Durban, again, who played centre midfield between 1963 and 1973. Stefano Aranio, who played right wing between 1997 and 2001. Alan Hinton, who played left wing between 1967 and 1975. And then up front, we had a pairing of Steve Bloomer, centre forward, between 1892 and 1906, and 1910 and 1914. And then Kevin Hector between 1966, 1978, and 1980 to 1982. So yeah, that was their greatest all-time 11, and they voted for Brian Clough to be their all-time 11 manager, and he managed the club between 1967 and 1973. So there you have it. Okay, everyone. Well, unfortunately, that's the end of today's show. I hope that you really enjoyed it, and thanks for coming to watch it. Anyway, so please remember, if you haven't done so already, please like the video and subscribe to my channel, which will be of great help to me, purely because every time you do that, it boosts my videos up in the YouTube listings, and it will mean that more people get to see it who haven't necessarily seen it before. So yeah, and also when you're subscribing, if you click on the notification bell, it will make sure that YouTube will let you know as soon as I upload a video. Obviously that'll only work if you've got your notifications switched on your phone. Anyway, and the last little thing to say, really, last bit of housekeeping, is it'd be really great if also you could click on the like button, and then also pass it on to anyone who you may think will find it interesting. And you can make that easier but for yourselves by clicking on the share button on the video, which is down in the same area as the subscribe and the like buttons. And remember, all of this is free. You don't have to pay, and it only takes a second for you to do it. So it's a good way to keep yourself entertained during this difficult period. Anyway, that's enough of my groveling and shameless marketing over and done with. So please, but more importantly than any of that stuff that I've just talked about, please look after yourselves and remember to keep talking to each other and keep supporting each other. Hopefully now it won't be long before we can get some sort of normality back. Anyway, so take care, and I'll be back again on Wednesday with another show for you. And so until then, take care and God bless. Thank you. Bye.